didn't think I would be seeing you around.
Well, I wasn't going to come back, but
I know, like this movie pulled you out of retirement.
I went into this movie expecting to hate it, like with every fiber of my being.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I kind of dreaded this movie in a lot of ways because I do not trust Ollie Stone at all. I mean, like, I can't even remember the last good movie he made. I can't. Like, Alexander was sort of like the beginning of the end for him as far as I'm concerned. And then it just all kind of petered out from there. And then I hear that he's doing a Snowden movie, and I'm thinking, oh no, what's going to happen here? And then I see the movie, and I'm thinking, I suppose that's the best. I guess that's kind of the best possible Snowden movie you can reasonably make.
Oh, hey, Byron.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining the conversation. But yeah, Snowden. It's good, but not great. But and I still stand by that statement of it's the best possible Snowden movie you can make.
What am I going to say? It's exactly what I was going to say. So, there we go. Yeah, it's good. It's not great. It's a little weird. It's Oliver Stone. Did Eyes Wide Shut, right?
No.
Was
that was Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Kubrick. Before.
That's right. Stanley Kubrick did that. Of course he did.
No. He, JFK. JFK,
okay.
W. Yeah, he did W. Like, W was a piece of horse shit.
Because it felt like, for parts of this movie, it felt like he did Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, and certain, like, Ollie Stone's instances of what I like to call visual masturbation, where he just wants to seem to look pretty, so he'll use, like, this weird filtering
and then double paneling or triple paneling and...
Yeah, just for the sake of, like, well, this shot looks boring.
It was like, fuck, it's starting to slug along. Let's do something. We got to get them back into it. There was a lot of filler. Now, we're coming out of seeing frickin' Sully, another similar kind of biopic, yeah. And coming out of Sully, this was really fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
So, my judgment is a little bit askew right now.
Well, the problem with Sully was that it didn't want to be a movie. It wanted to be a documentary disguised as a movie. So
This at times felt that way, but not nearly as much as Sully. Nowhere near.
Yeah, like they tried to make Snowden a character.
Yeah.
Which, like for the purposes of making a movie, that's what you should do. I mean, for the purposes of making a documentary, that's not what you're not supposed to do. And just by that baseline of logic, Snowden is leagues beyond.
Yeah.
Absolute leagues beyond Sully. And, but Snowden and Sully are not exactly one-to-one as far as, like, where is the story in their story. Whereas, like, Sully's story is told and done. And we're just revisiting it for some reason. But Snowden's story is still going on. And that's infinitely more interesting.
Yeah.
As far as public figures are concerned. So, right off the bat, Snowden has way more room to grow as an actual narrative. And whether or not the movie was going to be as true to life events as we, as a movie can be, was the one sticking point. I think you were feeling, right?
I was really concerned that it was going to be sort of a whitewash, where they were going to take specific claims and specific events that took place, because the Citizen 4 documentary had already been done, which meant there had already been a documentation of the events as they actually happened. So there was no need to have a dramatization other than to just sort of rewrite it. So I was worried about that. But honestly, as someone who followed the leaks very closely on a regular basis for the first year or so, and then off or on for the next 2 years, they got basically the vast majority of the major facts correct. So I was very pleased to see that. I mean, I feel like the liberties they took, with the Rubik's Cube thing, and some of the very emotional scenes, especially where he's talking to his girlfriend before making the decision to leave and go to Hong Kong. I felt those were embellished, but they also sort of had to be to make the story work. So I felt the embellishments that they put in didn't detract much from the factual content of it, while also fleshing out in a way that needed to be fleshed out. That said, the pacing could use some work, but it's also hard to pace a movie like that where there aren't a lot of action scenes.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of guns, going off.
Yeah, it's a thriller. It's a political thriller when you get right down to it. And in the days where we had what was that one movie released last year that I think just rocked the boat and just did everything wrong that Snowden could have gone wrong? It was the Julian Assange movie, I believe. Well,
I don't remember.
it was like something like the fourth something rather.
Fourth Estate?
Yeah, something like that. The fourth estate, the fifth estate. I forget the title of it, but they just got it completely wrong as far as portraying Julian Assange to be, this noble hero either this noble hero, but they got like so many of the facts wrong, and like the portrayal of him was not true to life. It was eschewing a lot of what do I like to call it? Uncomfortable truths. Whereas this felt like it was not scared of looking at what really happened. There was times where I felt like it was dramatized, surely, but again, this is a movie.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, are you hearing me? This is a movie. You're making a movie.
These are the moving pictures.
This is what you call a movie, and but as far as the actual story of the movie, I like that it went into the history of Snowden, like why he went, why and how and where he went before everyone knew his name, and I felt like that was a kind of important factor to him as a person, because he is. Like more than what he did, and more than what the United States government and the NSA did, the movie is about him. Someone with this ultimate responsibility. It's called Snowden, after all.
Yeah.
So it was important for the audience to at least get some insight as to the inner workings of this man, and whether or not that's actually true to life, or whether or not like Snowden could look at this movie and say, "Yeah, I really did feel that way when that happened," or "Yes, I really did feel." In this particular way that this movie accurately portrayed, I mean, we don't know. But I feel like if he watched this movie, he's not going to walk out of it just saying, like, that's not how it fucking happened.
that honestly was what sold it for me, is because, spoilers, Snowden himself has a cameo at the end of the film, and he speaks a few lines. And I was not going to go see this movie at all. But then I saw an interview on, like, I think it was Stephen Colbert or something, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and where they talked about how they went to Russia to talk to Snowden and interview him for a few hours, and for like an afternoon, and then shoot some of this footage. And that honestly is what switched it over from he's just trying to make a quick buck or rewrite history, to this is someone who actually cares about the issues the film is trying to raise, and that Snowden himself tried to raise. So
yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, from ethical filmmaking perspective, when you're talking about something this current and this this such a complicated issue that affects everyone in the world, and yet 95% of the world doesn't even know what is exactly happening. I mean, like, you brought along pretty much binders and books full of not only just the essays of Snowden, but what was leaked, including operation names, laws that were apparently trying to keep certain aspects of the wiretapping down, but then more came up. So it was like this. Well, you described it as a game of whack-a-mole.
Effectively, yeah. One agency or organization will pass a law saying you can't do this surveillance stuff. Another agency will come up and just start doing that stuff. I hate to generalize like that, but they were very right in saying that a lot of these programs and a lot of the ways they're set up are just a forest. It's just alphabet soup. It's names, acronyms, all these little things, and it's very hard to pick through the data. So
it's frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah, I've been looking at this stuff off and on for 2-3 years now, and I still have trouble with it.
Mm. And this is coming from someone who has a bright future ahead of him in network security.
Actually, the Snowden leaks were what made me want to get into it.
Oh, man.
It's the impetus for me deciding that you can sit around and be freaked out about all this potential power the government has to monitor things, or you can learn the systems and learn ways to prevent it.
Try
or
to
at least
understand
deter
it.
Yeah, essentially, I was afraid of everything and paranoid about everything because I didn't understand how the systems work. I thought they could track every single individual IP, every device, until I learned that private IP addresses are a thing. Simple things like that. There's so much technical ignorance.
Yeah,
And ignorance in the simplest sense of the word, ignorance.
There's ignorance in a lot of shit.
Oh, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
but for something that is so complicated and yet so prevalent in culture, that is like everyone has a cell phone these days, but nobody knows how their cell phone exactly works, or what taking the little box right next to the terms and service agreement, what that exactly entails. They all just skip it and just move on. On one hand, expecting everyone in the world to be as well versed in studying all the everything that goes is asking a lot of the general public. So, but on the other hand, people shouldn't be taking advantage of that. I wouldn't call it willful ignorance. I call it realistic ignorance.
Certainly.
Yes.
I mean, on one hand, you have access to all information through computers to learn, and on the other hand, there's a lot more that you can learn now. Where do you
like you have a more wide variety of topics to learn about, and an infinite capacity to get the information to learn about.
More of it to get lost in, which is why so many people just kind of they get completely blurred on all of it, and that's why a lot of people, myself included, just completely tune out.
It's just a lot to process at once.
Yeah.
But why don't we actually talk about the movie itself? As far as the weak links in this movie, I think it's all directly related to Oliver Stone. I mean, like it took me watching Snowden for me to remember that Oliver Stone, despite him being pretty much a director who kind of directs beyond his ken, if I could put him down in one term, he does care about what he's filming, very, very much so. So when you're dealing with a sensitive subject like Snowden, there could be better directors, but this definitely seems like Oliver Stone's wheelhouse in a certain regard, including all the frankly ridiculous visual embellishments along the way. First and foremost, does Snowden actually have epilepsy?
I don't think so. I don't recall it coming up, but it's also a medical thing that I don't think he would have gone out of his way.
That's a little odd.
Yeah, because there was several instances where if he I blank on his name, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Snowden he has an epileptic episode, and it doesn't really factor into much.
Well, they don't just allude to it or show him suffering from some kind of epileptic fit. They actually go into the fact that he has a doctor for it. They label it, and he gets meds for it. It doesn't come up till at least halfway through the movie because they don't find out he has it till then. But once they find out, it becomes actually a pretty big factor.
Yeah,
like
it just kind of It just kind of comes in out of nowhere, and
but once it does once it is inserted into the plot, it's important to the plot, and it puts strain on his relationship, because he needs to take the meds to be able to function, to be able to not be a safety concern when he's driving, and but he also gets groggy, he loses his edge, and he needs to not take the meds in order to do his job. So, yeah, it has an impact. I think if it was actually a real thing, then it would be totally worth putting in there. But if they completely made that up, if it's a dramatization, why the fuck would you want to? Why?
I honestly couldn't find anything in there. But again, I know we're talking about the movie specifically, but I just don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird detail to be in the movie. I mean, as far as it's being like some kind of outside force that's bigger than the situation as far as his personal safety is concerned, I think that maybe I wouldn't have such a weirdness about it if it was established earlier in the movie. like during his boot camp days when he was.
Yeah, like he had some kind of.
Yeah, the doctor comes in, flips open, it's you see you're an epilepsy risk here.
Yeah, there's
Or
something like that.
Because they did state that his mother had it,
So-
I believe.
yeah,
and
yeah.
that she dealt with it for a long time.
So, like-
it's like not like you didn't have any indication.
Like his mother took the same kind of medication for epileptic seizures, so it's like, well, maybe if but that's a problem with structure, right?
Yeah.
That's not so much enough to really detract from what the movie does. Like there's only a few points like that. Like there's only a few points in that in Oliver Stone's hands, he uses the seizures as a chance to put more filters on this lens and just kaleidoscope eyes and isn't this disorienting? And
I'm you're trying too hard to make it interesting when you don't need to. It's already interesting.
exactly.
It's just lack of information, lack of content to put in your movie. Maybe you need to do more research. Maybe you need to. I mean, didn't they collaborate with Snowden? Because they have
they
him in
went
the
to
movie,
Moscow.
Yeah.
so they had to have.
So they
Like that wasn't like footage from some other thing. That was for this. That
Yeah.
was done for this movie. So, I mean, it seems like 2004 to 2013, you got enough stuff there. You don't need to, jingle fucking bells in front of us.
like even if it does have epilepsy, and that was part of his life that went into the factoring of going to Hawaii in the first place, then I still feel like it still feels extraneous in the movie. I think like even though it did happen, not narratively important in the grand scheme of things, especially if they went with the route what they did. But another low point for me though was Joseph Gordon-Levitt, while doing a fine performance as far as what he was asked to do.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
What am I going to say?
Yes. Hello. Voice.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
is kind of put upon deep. Like Snowden doesn't sound like that. Why does he?
I'm Edward Snowden.
He you're making him.
No, I'm.
You're doing your Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but it is very noticeable, and it's this weird kind of not quite drawl that I'm not sure why he's putting that on. I mean, Snowden is in the movie. You hear him speak. He doesn't sound anything like Snowden at all. Why is he doing this? Why are you doing to make his voice
I
sound
don't
so
know why he did
weird?
that.
No.
I don't know. It didn't really bother me. Maybe that's just me.
And it's a weird acting choice. Not enough to ruin the movie, but it was definitely like you notice it, but it doesn't ruin the movie. You're just like, well, that's fucking weird. I will, however, say that Shailene Woodley. I should know that actress's name because she annoys me so much. Shailene Woodley's also in the movie, and just her presence felt like she has one of those punchable faces.
Oh fuck!
Although,
she really does.
With that
Oh,
said,
my
something
God.
in the film certainly makes up for it, and
Oh.
something I was not expecting.
Neither of us were all expecting, but
which was just wonderful.
yeah. Finishing it up, Shailene Woodley. I don't know if you're an actual mean girl in real life. All I'm saying is you got mean girl face.
Yeah.
You got like, yeah.
Resting mean girl face.
Oh,
She's got resting heel face.
excuse me. But yes, out of nowhere, and I wish he was in the movie longer. The one, the only, Mr. Nicolas Cage.
I wish she was in the movie longer.
Yeah, but here's the best part about it is like his introduction. His introduction in the movie is that Snowden's just wandering around the CIA compound, the island, as it were. He goes around the corner, goes into a room, and
Wild Nicolas Cage appears. Pretty much.
yeah, like he's in the background, but he's talking, and like even without a
Without
close-
even centering on the camera, you
no, like,
know that.
he's further in the background. You just know it's Nicolas Cage.
And then the first line comes, and you're like, "Yep."
That's fucking Nicolas.
All right, we're gonna take a break right here. Oh fuck!
Ah.
The Enigma was broken. This one never was.
Yeah.
Kid did it. The kid did it.
Because
Oh, yeah.
at that point, because they do it at like the very first half hour or so, and then Nick Cage basically isn't in the movie at all for the rest of the movie until like the last 15 minutes.
I had a
and
feeling
you forget
they were
he's
gonna
in the
do
movie. And then it's just Nick Cage sitting in a chair watching the Snowden leaks.
Hey, honey, dinner.
And it's like, oh yeah, Nicolas Cage was in this movie. I wish he was in it more.
This is the first time I've ever seen an actor photobomb a movie.
Oh, yeah. Christopher Walken does it like every movie he's in.
But no, because every Christopher Walken movie we've ever seen advertises him being in it. Nobody knew that Nick Cage was in this movie.
That's true.
I guess
That's
Stan Lee doesn't really count because you expect him to be in every movie.
Yeah, like it can be, but nobody expected.
That's a good point.
Like nobody expected Nick Cage to be in this movie.
You always expect Christopher Walken. You don't always expect Nick Cage.
I know, that's why Nick Cage has the one slight edge on Walken. Another surprise for me, or at least I forgot he was. I think I did see a trailer with him in it, but I was surprised to see Zachary Quinto to appear as one of the original reporters to help break the story with Snowden, and
he plays Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah, and someone who I haven't seen in a while, who I kind of like, is Timothy Olyphant.
Oh yeah, Fantastic. I forgot what did Fantastic play?
He was the other operative alongside Snowden when they were taking out that one Turkish guy. I can't remember the name of the guy.
Oh, the one.
Yeah.
Oh, the grease ball.
The grease ball. It was like, yeah, to get him into his car. We're gonna get him for drunk driving, and then we'll.
Yeah, like that. That I felt like was a pure dramatization. I sincerely doubt there was this one guy who's just like so fucking evil, slick back hair, looks like he beats off the dead puppies. Are you like going back through your own internal database saying like, was there such a?
No, if that's the unbelievable part of the movie.
Oh shit! That's another thing that I need to wipe from my hard drive. The dead puppies. Fuck, thank you for reminding me.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of unbelievable shit that wound up being true in this movie. I'm not saying that. Like that guy felt like a character that was invented for the movie to help really sell the NSA wiretapping to be like a purely negative thing.
Not necessarily purely negative, but mostly negative, I would say.
Yeah, mostly negative, but for the film's purposes, they need to portray Snowden as what he's doing is in the right.
Yeah, wow, this is clearly an abuse of power. We shouldn't be doing this.
Yes.
But what I really liked was that scene, the sort of CGI scene with all the network stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed a little out of place because there's not that much CGI in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was a really good explanation.
That was like the one good use of it.
Because the other use of CGI was they were shooting birds. And it's just...
Yeah, because there's no way that you could... Even if you were actually paid a hunting... Here's the legality of that situation. If you're paying to hunt game, why would it matter if you were filming yourself hunting game for a motion picture or if you didn't?
I think it's just so they can still put that no animals were harmed thing on it.
Well, I didn't see that actually. I didn't see that. So
well, then it might not have been a CGI bird. They might have just shot some
just
real
really
ones.
good CGI.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
because
people used to do their own stunts. Maybe it's a real bird.
I mean, like if you're going to a professional hunting ground and paying to hunt bird and game on their hunting grounds, then you're killing birds. Whether or not you put a camera and film yourself hunting said birds, then that's beside the point.
Well, they did mention they were eating them.
That too.
I don't know if we actually did or not, but boy, does this not really.
Yeah, like I've always kind of like been moral. That's always been kind of like a moral bug up my ass as far as that's concerned. Like, why would an animal care why it's killed? Like, we don't want you killing animals for entertainment. You're killing the animal. Why would it matter?
Because they might be killed less for certain.
I mean, it's yeah.
I mean, like kill less of them if it's not for that reason.
If it's for food, it's for food because we kill lots of shit for food.
I mean, granted, but again, like if you're being cruel through proxy.
Well, I mean, it's not like they had all had Marys earlier, and then they went out and killed birds, and then they just ate it even though they didn't want to, and it's just like, God, I just have to fit it down there. But, it got good footage. Yeah. Not really hungry. It'll have a little bit.
I mean, especially if it's on something like I said, on a hunting ground. It's not like a cannibal holocaust situation where they're just killing wild animals because they need to have the characters kill wild animals to prove how cruel they are.
Oh yeah, and then they centered on like the I think they also had like ribs or something on the
Like
grill.
it was like half birds.
Or was it half birds? And,
Yeah, like-
and then they were just centered like eating fire, and you're just like some of this it doesn't mean anything. It's just some of the camera work, some of the editing, some of the
Oh yeah, like the overindulgent editing.
yeah.
And did you catch that shot of an oscillating fan like up above for no reason? Like they were watching Snowden right through the rotating blades of a fan.
Like
See, I didn't really have a problem with a lot of the cinematography stuff.
like if it was 2016.
Because I mean, a lot of them were sort of older tricks, like that one prism shot they do when he's walking away. That's like from Citizen Kane or something.
Oh,
That's
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I recognize that from.
Yeah,
It's one of those old movies.
Yeah,
I thought he made really good use of traditional cinematography techniques.
That's true.
Compared, I mean, because would you rather have had it be a bunch of CGI?
well, that's kind of that's not really the argument I'm trying to make.
Oh, okay.
My argument for as far as Ollie Stone's cinematography or his insistence on getting his DP to set up a shot to look a certain way is that a shot, like he'll have a gimmick shot that doesn't really lend anything to the scene itself, but rather it just supposedly looks visually interesting and then cuts away. And just kind of, it draws me onto the movie when cinematography calls attention to itself like that.
Oh, you mean like the one scene where he just has the Rubik's Cube and he's walking out?
Yeah.
And then he like fades into this gray alien and then he's just gone?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the Citizen Kane walk away or...
Oh, no, there's like one prism shot where it's like 5... You know, I may be thinking of a Star Trek episode.
Oh, the prison. Oh, the
Yeah.
That they do that with.
Yeah, like that ending shot where Snowden walks out of the CIA Hawaiian CIA base, and he's reaching daylight, and they purposefully overexpose the camera so that way it's Snowden walking into a bright white light, and so his fingers
kind of looks like something from The Arrival. It's like suddenly his
so that's
head, long neck. He's just like, I wasn't the only one who saw that alien.
I'm here to probe your anus.
Yeah, that's cinematography calling attention to itself. It doesn't really serve any purpose other than to, hey, it looks cool, and it's a visual metaphor of how he's just ascending from hell into the light, and like. Yes, Ollie, you were very clever.
I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't mind that stuff if it's not horribly overt. I mean, it was overt. But maybe it's because I sympathize with the character.
Yeah, I mean, like it's granted the film does a good job of portraying Snowden to be a sympathetic character. I mean, it's hard to be unsympathetic when you're cast against the fucking CIA and the NSA. But they did their homework. They did what they had to do in order to get the audience on the side of Snowden. So when he does goofy shit like that, it just feels like, all right, I'll give you a slight pass, but Ollie. Stop. Just stop. I mean, can we also address the weird sort of scene where Snowden is talking to his handler via 1984?
Huge. Let's get to that.
That was cool. I like that.
Oh my god, that was so 1984.
And what's wrong with that?
It's not that it's wrong. It's just kind of it's.
I saw you laugh at it.
I laugh because of just how over the top it looked.
I think it felt like this movie was, doing a good job of being pretty serious, and then at times it would veer off into either the abstract or the comically just kind of over the top.
There were some instances like even if you were if you were talking to your boss via Skype, and his face was being projected on a huge screen.
A giant screen.
Yeah. Like he might move. He'd be a talking head. He wouldn't be this gigantic looming face that just peers down on you because of the aspect because of the where
yeah, it's just kind of like. I think I've got it about right here. It's just all encompassing.
I think you just blew up my mic, but
sorry.
But it's like the face that begins the Apple commercial, and
oh yeah, when they check the box.
Yeah, I felt like Snowden should be throwing a hammer right through the screen.
I'll admit the conceit of the very large sort of teleconferencing window they have was a little bit silly.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
For
idea,
one guy.
well,
it's
but
like-
at the same time, this guy is a very high-ranking intelligence official who clearly got there by being able to manipulate people. So he would know the kind of thing, like if you want to be intimidating or imposing, you can tell based on the other person's sort of where they're standing, kind of where the camera is.
Yeah.
And if he knows it's a laptop camera, he can just sort of get in close, and he knows his face is going to be huge. I mean, but again, that's the hacking. That's the social engineering stuff that literally is like half to 2/3 of actual hacking.
Mm-hmm. And I like that scene. One, because it's funny to me. I'll admit, like a lot of these times when I find shit like that funny, it's tickling a kind of like a pre-teen part of my brain that still kind of thinks that farts are funny. It's like, that looks stupid.
It does. It kind of does.
I mean, on one hand, the guy who's I forget the actor's name, but the actor portraying is rightfully has the gravitas and the seriousness.
Oh yeah, he did.
To really instill like I knew that scene was supposed to be fearful. Like it was supposed to be a terrorizing scene for Snowden because there's the guy who's basically been holding his hand all throughout his CIA career, literally looming over him as this larger-than-life figure, and of course it's supposed to be scary. But on the other hand, the funhouse mirror effect that was happening was not doing that guy any favors. Woo! But I love that scene because it also I wish they did follow up on this.
Yeah.
Snowden admitted that he used the password to spy on his girlfriend because he thought she might be cheating on him.
And for the record, that is something that's happened on multiple occasions. Analysts will use their own abilities to spy on their love interests when they're away on vacation. They actually have a nickname for it called love intelligence, or lover intelligence.
I was getting the feeling that he didn't, maybe he didn't actually do that, but he was setting him up to see if he was doing it himself, so he was baiting him, basically.
But on the other hand,
Because they never actually, but they didn't actually show him doing it.
But they did show him being suspicious.
Suspicious, yes. And goddamn, he was in a situation where he was suspicious all the time about everything, because that's what the job does to you.
So the question is the question I'm asking myself is did Snowden actually do that? The actual Snowden, because I feel like maybe that would have been a great moment where he realized, he's gone too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
As far as what he's doing for the NSA, but I'm guessing there's no official report saying that Snowden admitted to actually doing that.
Well, I do know that he did try to go through the proper channels. At least to an extent. Again, I don't want to speak to specific instances, but there was at least one case where he was concerned about a program and did go to his supervisors about it. So in that sense, it is accurate that he did try to deal with it internally to an extent. But again, I was overall very pleased with how true they stayed to a lot of the stuff, especially the technical details like program names. There's some stuff they mention in passing, like they mentioned TAO in passing. They mentioned tailored access operations. They mention various program Tempora, Section 702 collection. They did their homework on this stuff when it talks about the specific program names and how it's used. I was very impressed, and I was not expecting to be.
It's a marvelous feeling when a movie can surprise you. This is a mild surprise for me, because again, Ollie Stone, and I'll always keep harping on this, but this movie could have gone so wrong in so many ways, and in some ways it did. The little niggling things that kept me from, embracing this movie as much as I feel like it deserves. But outside of a weird choice of performance for Joseph Gordon-Levitt and that punchable face of Shailene Woodley's. And occasional
Miles Teller female equivalent face.
Yeah, although Miles Teller is way
worse.
Far worse. I should tell you this story. I'll finish up this thought first. But outside of my minor grievances, I think this is a perfectly fine, good movie.
As someone who's been very frustrated with a lot of the media whitewashing that's taken place around the links and the suppression of a lot of the stories that have come out, especially in the last couple of years as the leaks have sort of died down, this was the exact movie that we needed, and I was very pleased by it.
I definitely agree with both of you. I'm on board. It was very, especially for. I think you got a good, good opposites here of you being extremely informed about this. And
I wouldn't say extremely. It's kind of hard to be extremely informed.
well, compared to me, you are.
Fair enough.
So
like we got
extremes here. I can go into this movie knowing jack shit, and it's still enjoyable for me. And in fact, it's it's a little eye opening. I mean, it's like I already knew a lot of this stuff in general, but I didn't know the specifics in regards to Snowden, and how much of what we know now is because of him. So I appreciate this movie in a way that solely
solely
the name.
Just can't compare
no. No.
Yeah, the solely didn't. It's like I go in there knowing exactly what I know coming out, and this was much better, way better. Don't even compare.
Well, yeah. But actually, the more I thought I was going to be more conflicted about the movie, the more I thought about it. But actually, the more I vocalize it, I realize how much I really liked it.
This, not
yeah,
solely.
not solely. We're not done harping on solely.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh god. Yeah, I think that's as far as recommendations are concerned. If you had any interest in seeing Snowden, go ahead and see it. For some weirdness surrounding the release of it, though, is that our major theater in town did not carry it, was not showing it, and it might be for some kind of political reason. Entirely possible. Some United Artists or whatever theater company just does not want to show a movie that's pretty much so incendiary towards our government. Probably avoiding that. So if you have the ability to see the movie, if the movie's within 25 miles of driving distance, go ahead and see it.
I would also like to add it's worth seeing Citizen 4, the actual documentary that covers the events this film dramatizes, because they were shooting it at the time these events take place, like that 3 or 4 days in the Hong Kong hotel room, and it's also public domain because it was used as evidence in a court case, which means anybody can download it. So torrent away.
Wow.
Yeah. So up until I think that's pretty much all we have to say.
I think the only thing we might have left to say is list all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All the names.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. We got
Let's do it.
It's on the ground over there.
Oh, it's on the ground over here. Apparently these are these.
Can I show that?
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Not only those two books, but he's also got these and everything.
For the entire.
Yeah,
the entirety.
He is serious about this.
Yeah. God. So what do we got here? Let's see this.
This is a declassified list of words that the Department of Homeland Security monitors on social media websites, or at least did several years ago. The list has probably, in fact, I can almost guarantee you that it's changed at some point or another. But any one of these phrases at the time would have gotten you logged on some kind of list, or at least it would have registered in the system.
So what we got here? We got influenza, Center for Disease Control, Drug Administration, Public Health, Toxic, Agro-terror, tuberculosis. A lot of this is just if you're emailing grandma about how's your TB holding up, you're just going to be logged on some government database.
So I was shopping at Target the other day, and I got this bomb-ass toy gun, President Obama.
Los Zetas, I'm guessing that's a Mexican gang.
I think so, yeah.
Gulf Cartel, Dock, Bridge, Canceled, Service Disruption, Drug, Narcotics, Southwest, as in Southwest Airlines?
I think so, yeah. It would make sense they would track airlines.
Terrorism is listed twice. Terrorism is so bad, it's listed twice on the banned words.
That's terrorism with a capital T.
So how well do they do monitoring videos like this when it's not like text? It's not, you can't hit the.
Is that hooked up to the internet?
No, it's not.
Does it have a wireless chip in it?
No, it does not.
So it can only connect to stuff if you plug it into something.
So.
But once we put it online.
Well, yeah.
On YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
so.
it's been demonstrated you can inject malware through a YouTube video.
Oh, cool.
So you can literally be watching a cat video and they'll inject malware. There's very little you can do realistically because.
Okay, good. So once we put this out there, they'll be able to get all of it. Good.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I have a surprise waiting for the Men in Black coats when they come. And
The biggest change for me has been learning what to be paranoid about and what not to be paranoid about, and learning to differentiate between something there's no way that's true to this is a legitimate concern.
Let's see, we got infection, powder, parentheses, white. Like, who types like this?
Well, if you have like an ingredients list or something, like you're listing, the ingredients to make thermite or something.
So, how long has it been since you've seen the movie White Powder?
Oh, I watch the movie Powder all the time.
Wait, was it? It was just powder.
It was just powder.
Yeah, white powder.
White
powder. He was
white
pretty
powder.
White powder. He was pretty white, but
There's a South Park episode in there somewhere.
And vaccine, salmonella.
I mean, again, this is a lot of DHS, so it's a lot of infectious diseases.
Yeah, like stuff. Yeah, salmonella. Oh no, the terrorists are going to end America by infecting us all with a stomach virus. We're going to shit ourselves.
In all fairness, if you attack the I mean, you can do a lot of damage attacking infrastructure like that.
Yeah, that's
especially
actually true.
Yeah, it's true, but we just don't want America to be brought down because we shat ourselves to death. I mean, please, fly more planes into our towers. Just don't let us shit ourselves.
The list is so long. There's no way that they can single you out at all.
Well, this is one of their issues that they've actually been having for the last few years, from what I've heard.
It's like people are just flooding, just purposefully doing this.
This is the problem. There's so much. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
And you just can't. I mean, you can to a degree, but the movie goes into a great detail about that with the 3 hops rule, where if each person has 40 contacts and you hop 2, it's multiple millions of potential people. And then there's also the what's it called? The paradox of the false positive, I think. Even if you have a billion people and you have a detection method that's accurate 99% of the time, it's still something like 1 million people who are going to be false positives.
Yeah, that's full math. 99% accurate. That still leaves about 1 million people. 1 million people out in the cold, or in Guantanamo. Temblor, never heard of that one. Brush fire, wildfire. Oh well, fuck us. We live in California. We have one of those every 2 weeks. Typhoon, shelter in place, disaster, snow. You can literally be on the FBI watch list, CIA list, for typing in snow.
Not even Snowden.
Just snow.
Oh, the next one is Den. Okay.
Erosion, power outage, brownout, warning, watch, aid. Not AIDS, but aid.
AID.
Yeah. Malware, virus, Trojan, keylogger, Cyber Command 2600. I believe that was an Atari game. Spammer, phishing, rootkit, freaking with a PH. Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel, wow, code words.
Cain is
names.
Yeah, I think you need to explain this one. This cannot be the biblical Cain and Abel.
Well, I know Cain is a term for an exploit kit. It's like a Linux exploit kit. You get it, and it has a bunch of essentially pre-made attacks that have been. I mean, they're all old. It's like they're against like Windows 2003 servers. I mean, like really old, outdated stuff. So it's not particularly useful, but it's good for sort of learning about penetration testing.
Worms, scammers, social media. And configure?
That I'm not sure.
There's a word that says configure on it. CONFICKER. I think that's one of those. I think this is a term that was invented by some kind of asshole that wanted to trick the CIA into thinking it's something that means something.
Like, do they also have a list of words that people may have gotten autocorrected?
I would imagine so. I'd be surprised if they didn't. Because, again, one of the things that we have to deal with is that all the information from the Snowden leaks was already kind of old when it came out, and we're 3 years later, so who knows what they have now.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Crest toothpaste.
Crest. Wow.
Well, not necessarily the toothpaste. It could
I
be
know, like the crest
of a wave.
wave. Yeah.
Yeah, crest of a wave. But...
Of course, for all I know, there's some chemical component in Crest
All my
you
children
can use
are,
to make some kind
Yeah.
of dirty bomb or something.
all my children are Crest kids. Targeted.
We plug holes in teeth. We plug holes in teeth. we gotta stop those cavity commandos.
Dear God.
I think this vlog has made its point, but
Yeah.
you know, see Snowden. It's a good movie. Read this list. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Keep yourself informed. So, till next time.